Hello, and I'm the commander of Yugoslavia. We are a powerful nation, but we were getting warnings from Italy and Germany, and we did not feel safe. All these powerhouses. So today, our empire will expand to its peak. I want to start of taking off Bulgaria. Bulgaria are the villains of this war, and I will show them where they should be. And this time, what will we know? Will France fail again? Will Germany do better than ever? Or will something new happen? But today, something new will happen. And that new thing would be my new empire. After that, I started war justification against Albania. Albania are just a country nobody really likes, and I'm not gonna let Italy take it once again. But as Sofia was falling, everything was the end for Bulgaria. They tried to get into our land, but that day it showed who was the actual powerhouses of this empire. And after that, we started war justification against Romania, just in case. But as we were doing that, we also took over. We took over Albania, and like that, we already expanded from the west sea of somewhere I forgot, and the Black Sea. And so Albania quickly started falling off. And with even more help from our troops, it looked like an end for Yugoslavia and Albania. But this time, nobody will invade Yugoslavia, just like in the real life. But today, they're gonna make the stop of the Italy Empire. They're not gonna get anywhere. They can call, they will, but in this instance, they saw that we were becoming a powerhouse, and they saw that the Albania was taken, and we made a peace treaty with them, and an alliance. So, our next opponent was not, as you saw it would be, not Romania, but it would be them. Why would it be so? This would be easier and also give us more access to the Mediterranean Sea. And after that, Romania knew that there was people coming in for them. But at that time, some countries also expanded, like the Poland Empire now. They divided the Polish Commonwealth. But Germany said that they wanted Dasnik to connect their land. However, we obviously knew that Poland declined. But it looked like everything would be good, and everyone even made alliance with Finland. It was a key strategic spot. And it was quite weird why everyone wanted to be allied with them. So we marched into Greece, and on the first day it already started to be a bad night. And it was a big loss for every single country. And everyone fought everyone. It was awful. In Iona and Stanislavski, there was big losses. Larissa was also quite damaged by the situation. With more help, Larissa fell quickly. And so did Stanislavski. And like that, Yugoslavia already made some decent progress. But it was just the start of that empire. Italy tried to expand themselves into Hungary, and it looked like the end for them. But with brilliant defenses, Athens still held very well until the 2nd Brigade helped the 1st Brigade meet. And Athens like that quickly fell to their bottom, and they sank. like that, and it looked over for Greece. But this time, like in all good stories, it never came back. And like that, Yugoslavia marched to make their peak empire once again. And Finland was not even that special an empire, and even lost this part to USSR once again. And Poland expanded them like this, but it looked close to a war because it looked like Germany would have a fight. But this time, it was that Germany would have justifications with, you know who? The great enemy, France. And like that, quickly in Bucharest, there was big fire, big casualties. But Yugoslavia tried not to damage nothing but Bucharest. They quickly took over the government. And like that, made a quick advancement into Romania. And like that, it was great. Until Yugoslavia also wanted to get some land into there. Italy failed miserably. However, as it looked, they started war justification against Czechoslovakia. In this theory, instead of expanding here, the Allies were very brutal. But Germany had one ally, and there was a big fight everywhere, including Poland. But like that, we sent an alliance to Germany once again. And Germany accepted. And we made big advancements in here. Everyone got quickly here. And we took and came off to Debrecen, where there were heavy losses. And like that, one of the brigades lost quickly. And after that, Yugoslavia did not have anywhere to expand. So it demanded tiles from Italy. Only 2 tiles, which did not really matter to Italy. And they hoped that they would accept. But they did not. Like that, everything quietly looked good for them. But like that, Italy tried to steal Budapest, but they didn't. But they wanted to give some tiles to they gave them this tile, but sadly Italy did not accept. But it finally did. And like that, everything looked decent for this, and even some called Yugoslavia the next Austria-Hungary. But sadly, Yugoslavia only had the Hungary this time. And like that, Polish army fell to their beneath. But it wasn't better for France, neither. But like that, with this even happening, the army was raised to their peak. And they got upgraded even more small. But Yugoslavia said that we needed protection from the nuclear powers. So they decided to also upgrade their what is it called? Their nuclear protection. And like that, German Reich took over Poland. And it was back to old times. Would there be a fight between USSR and Germany? Would it happen or no? France fell as well, but this time to Spain and the United Kingdom. And Italy declared war on Spain, but there was no need. So like that, yeah, everything looked like a stalemate. And the only thing that Yugoslavia could have taken is obviously Turkey. And so it said it would. Oh no. Oh, and clearly, it's not a clear one. Clearly like that, everything looked good for Yugoslavia. So, like that, they also waited and waited. And everyone realized that everyone here was a power. The least of them was France. And France even made progress and took over the Spanish. And they took off and killed off United Kingdom. So only Germany was left. Could they do it? Could they pull it off? And like that, British wanted to do it once again and take over from Brest. Not from Normandy, just from Brest. And like that, everyone started war justification against Turkey. But USSR quickly took the opportunity. But at least Yugoslavia wanted everything in Istanbul area and Izmir, Afyon and Antalya. Get a powerful coastline of something that everyone dreamed of. USSR fought. Like that, Germany started war justification against Italy, I mean. And of course, Yugoslavia and us, we brought troops to the borderline. Just in case we never knew what Italy and Germany would ask us. Everyone knew that remaining a relationship with Germany would be way more key than with Italy. But like that, it looked over for Germany, but they opened a new flank. It didn't really matter, as Yugoslavia just didn't care who really won the war, as they may have declared war on Italy. So they decided to exit alliance and start the war justification against them. I looked so over for Italy now. Too much over for Italy. But Italy became smarter in this situation and decided, instead of waiting to descend in, they decided to descend straight in Rome to get Taranto and the bottom part of Italy while the war was lasting. They still had truce, but nobody cared now. Everyone needed territory as much. Some soldiers decided, but we quickly took off in Taranto. But Italy activated protocol once and everything looked good for Yugoslavia, even tricking Italy into going back to Rome. Italy was in a lost position, and it was nowhere safe. And like that, Italy decided to actually resign the war anyways, as it was not even safe for people. And like that, from going an empire, Yugoslavia lost the trust of its own friend. But Italy knew what was becoming anyways. And like that, by escaping, they did a peace treaty term, but also demanding Italy that they give up the Iceland. And like that, everyone hoped Italy to accept to not lose its full power to Germany. And Italy even accepted. And like that, it was happy days for everyone. Like that, France even made some promising attacks. But it looked over for Italy now. It would be so over now for Italy. And like that, Yugoslavia looked like a powerhouse for one more time. But like that, everyone forgot about Turkey, but only USSR was fighting for it. So Yugoslavia promised USSR half of the Turkey that was left. And the border would be divided around here. And USSR obviously accepted, as their war was going in for too long. But this showed how the Red Army wasn't as strong as it did look. But by now everyone was happy. And USSR was obviously promised a nice division. And they asked how they were annexed, and they showed their despair. But it didn't matter now, and we couldn't reply to them, as sadly my chat got banned. And Italy still held off, building a very powerful, promising line. But since one brigade of tanks didn't work, Germany overtook them real quick with their special operations in need. And like that, slowly Yugoslavia started understanding how to develop tanks. They looked a very powerful empire, but now they didn't trust Germany a bit, not even one bit. However, it trusted, and they gave it all trust away to Germany, even declaring war on Italy and taking it away. It was the end for now, for Italy. And so would it be until obviously Italy and Yugoslavia knew it would be over. It asked for Naples as well, but they rejected the Demand Treaty and let Germany take it all. Like that, Italy, it was over for them. But now, would Yugoslavia be the next on their list? With 28 soldiers of Germany, there was no trust at them at all. Do you even understand how massive that army would be? It was a despair for Yugoslavia, and they built a front against Germany, not giving them their trust. They believed that their people mattered to them more than you could think. And like that, Ever since knowing, they developed to even more of power. And like that, USSR decided to war justificate against Germany. But as Yugoslavia was just looking, it just built a very stiff defense line. And expecting the USSR obviously fail due to no reasons and their lack of military expense. Yugoslavia did not want to interrupt this time. But sadly, I would not give away the trust of Germany. And we asked for some land, and sadly we got rejected. And like that, the war broke out. But USSR did not realize the stiffness of German army made out of steel and obvious power. Like that, it all continued for Yugoslavia. And France looked quite powerful. But of course, Germany were expanding and nobody knew who was the best. Because since nobody actually controlled France, the soldiers just went around catching and playing cats and mouse game. But the war in USSR showed the weakness and no power at all of Germany. But of course, as everyone said, and I knew as the leader of Yugoslavia, no one had trust in Germany, and they knew after USSR there will be nobody else but us, or United Kingdom, or any of these nations. But to no one's surprise, Yugoslavia would be the key performance for them. Now, since USSR knew that their fate might have been lost, we demanded some key territories for us and hoped that USSR would accept, but sadly their parliament left and they militarized their army. Yet Yugoslavia looked at the whole situation in shock, building a stiff line of defenses along their border, just in case it wouldn't be enough. Of course, they would realize that this front would also be in danger, but USSR and Yugoslavia did not realize for this front now and said that Germany would not attack it just yet. But somehow France got into this bit, provoking Yugoslavia and Yugoslavia. So they just did not want to declare war on them actually, but they waited. With patience, they believe attack would be coming. By now it's the 8th of December 1942, the start of the big war. But this time, Germany was faster, smarter, taking over Italy and blocking the front. With Yugoslavia's help, everything looked decent for them. But Finland was very weird. Everyone's ally. They didn't want any peace. Only Norway and Sweden and Denmark was left. However, Denmark would be impossible to get unless there's a war. But like that, German Reich annexed France. Big fights broke out, but USSR surprised everyone. their performances were actually really impressive in the war. However, it didn't matter to Germans. They had 26 soldiers. That means during the war they lost 3. USSR lost 1. And like that, German Reich, one of their Group 8 got lost and even lost 1 more soldier. That was a very impressive result for Germany for now. However, they got close to Moscow, but this showed that the dominance of Germany could be chopped and eaten quickly by no experienced army. They made a law, but nobody cared about me for now. Everyone waited, and they waited, and like that, 3 people got left in the whole game, and it was only Germany. And it's like that, Yugoslavia betrayed USSR, seeing that there was no progress at all. Like that, they waited, and it looked like everyone was surprised for now that the Red Army showed who was the boss here. They made some great improvements into Poland, and Germany's army was stuck in a stalemate in any position. They tried to fight, but this time it looked quite bad and devastating for Germany. 1, 2, and 3 brigades got fully out in trouble. These attacks would now be a very bad position for USSR. Like that, 1 more brigade died in Germany. But nobody talked about Yugoslavia just for now. Why would anyone even talk about it? Germany sent its full occupying powers, and it was just a nightmare, and everyone hoped that this would be finally over. Like that, the enoughness that Yugoslavia had, they couldn't take any reason to not attack. They attacked, and they helped out the German brigades even more. And like this, Yugoslavia said that this is our land and it's not for yours for the taking. More advancements after more. And like that, it was quite impressive. How did a country nobody believed in, everyone wanted to divide, impress everyone with their power and skill? And now, I would not feel safe for neither Germany or USSR. Germany showed that their massive army is not the biggest effect on the war. And like that, USSR made 1 advancement. However, with more help, someone took over the parliament. Everyone started the war, the big war. And like that, everything looked decent for both sides. With the help of Yugoslavia, we made more and more advancements. People in USA still did not believe in the new government they had. They did not believe it one bit. And like that, something unexpected happened. And everyone made a peace treaty. And like that, it was over. All three sides won the war.